Welcome to Shazza's Laughter Hour here at Radio Northern Beaches, 88.7, 90.3 FM, or you can listen through the website live stream on rnb.org.au or through the radio app TuneIn Radio. And today, wow, I am absolutely honoured and delighted to have with me such a special guest all the way from Los Angeles and originally from Sydney, Australia, the very funny and highly intelligent and talented Jackie Loeb.
Oh, wow, that's a very, very generous introduction.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you, and I feel like
I'm
calling...
thrilled to be here. How do you think I feel?
Well, we're both honoured and thrilled, so that's we'll just make that very clear at the go-get. And Jackie Loeb has been a stand-up comedian, actor.
She has been, yes.
She still is, in fact.
I'm embellishing my resume, but
yes,
you still those things.
And you're a musician of note.
That I'm very good at, yes.
And I must say, she's also rather a good singer.
Oh, sometimes,
I've heard the words Celine Dion and Celine Ding Dong.
I can't say I'm familiar with her work with this.
Celine and, other Mariah and other things uttered.
Oh, I haven't, but thank you. I'll take that.
Well, I just made that up to flatter you, but...
Worked.
Thank you. And also, I'd like to let all our listeners know that Jackie was also given a very prestigious award in Australia.
I still haven't got it.
Do you actually get a statue for that?
I do, but I don't know how to get it.
Really?
I don't know who to contact. Too lazy to research and contact someone.
So it's an actual award, like an Oscar.
Actual award, like Mo.
Yeah.
The Mo.
It looks like Mo.
It's like the gentleman who the award is named after. I'm not even sure if the Mo Awards are still going. I'm not really sure what's happened there, but
maybe you blew them up. After you, they said, let's just give up and not do it anymore.
There's
we can't compete.
An award somewhere with my name etched on it, somewhere in Sydney, but I don't know where.
So you were the 2016?
2016, yes.
Comedy Performer Live?
Yes, it was actually the Rodney Rude. It's named after Rodney Rude, the Rodney Rude comedian. They've got different types of comedians. So they'll have a club comedian, and then this was the more, I guess, the contemporary.
Maybe fancy. Let's call it what it is.
Contemporary.
Yeah.
The Contemporary Comedy Award. So I really don't know too much about it. I think the Mo Awards were kind of really big there for a while when the club scene was really, really vibrant. A lot of different entertainers.
When we were younger.
When we were younger.
Yeah.
Now perhaps not so much, but I mean, I'll take any award that's given to me, and I feel proud, and my mother's very happy. So
well, that's the main thing. I think it was much deserved.
It was certainly an accolade, and it's something to put on my website, and no one in America knows who it is, and I just say it's like winning an Emmy, and that's that.
And they won't know the difference.
They're not going to even bother researching.
No. I think you should just be introduced in the United States as the Australian Comedian of the Year.
Well, I have been, actually. It's funny you should say that. And I just go with it again.
Why not? Yeah.
Well, it's not embellishing. It's not a lie.
No.
In that category, that Mo Award was specific comic of the year.
Were.
And no one needs to know it's between three comedians.
No. I mean, I didn't know whether to call you Jackie Loeb Australian Comedian of the Year or Your Majesty.
Either one's
or
fine.
Your Royal Highness.
All I know is when I'm introduced, though, that way, there's an enormous amount of expectation and pressure. Actually, I don't really like it.
No.
Because it's like, oh, well, she must be over there. She must be the best person, the most funniest person in the entire, of all Australia. And I most certainly am not. I'm about probably the 118th best. I'll own that, 118th. I think
118th.
That's not being self-deprecating.
That's a pretty round figure.
A lot of comedians. Well, how many comedians would there be in Australia?
Oh, well.
About 300 or 400, would you say?
Well,
so
it's hard to tell what they are.
118th, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good ranking.
That's about halfway.
Yeah, it's pretty generous. It's good.
But you have a little award, so that's always nice.
I do. It's a self-esteem booster.
Yeah. So, Jackie, you originally were living in Sydney.
I was.
And were you born in Sydney?
I was born in Sydney at Bondi.
Gosh.
It's now, what is it? It's something to do with geriatrics. It's quite nice and positive and upbeat.
Was it a hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
On Bronte Road, that's where I was born.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was a hospital, and now it's something pertaining to geriatrics, which I'll soon be, oddly enough.
It's nice to know where it's located when you need it.
I can go the full circle.
That's it, the full circle when you're there in your nappy. And so you were born in Sydney, and then you spent most of your time in Sydney.
I did, most of my time in Sydney, and then I had opportunity to go to Melbourne, and that was really great. And then I had an opportunity to get out of Melbourne, and that was really great too. Came back to Sydney. And then probably, about 7 years ago, it was mid-2010, and a friend who actually saw today said, I was expressing that I was a little bit bored and maybe I should go back to Melbourne or do something a bit different. And she said, well, why didn't you go to LA? And I was like, oh, all right. And I called an immigration lawyer the next day, and then it just
took it step by step.
Got to LA, amazingly.
Was that an immigration lawyer in LA or in Sydney?
Yes, it was an immigration lawyer in LA, and that someone had recommended. And I don't know, something must have been just dormant, because as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, because everyone is a lot of the time, a lot of Aussie comics went to the UK. That was the thing to do.
They did, yes.
They all went. And I never really had any aspiration to go to the UK. It was psychologically too far and too expensive. LA was psychologically one plane flight away. It's not like two separate flights.
That's right.
It's not like 24 hours on the plane. Yeah. It seemed more doable. And I'm there. I don't know how I stay there, but I'm there.
You get on the plane and you get off.
And I hate it. I hate the travel, and there's nothing glamorous. It sounds very glamorous. Oh, yes. Jackie's living... I don't know why I'm doing an American accent. Jackie's in LA. How glamorous. There's nothing glamorous about my life in LA. Nothing. I shop at the 99-cent store, which absolutely... The 99-cent... I think about the things I'd miss if I came back permanently. I've made some very... good friends. I have about 6 really, really good friends that I treasure, that I really, really value. I really, really miss them. And then I would miss the 99-cent store. So let me tell you about the 99-cent store.
Please do,
it's fascinating.
Yes.
Okay, so they're a chain. It would be like going to a low-budget Woolworths. But the produce is I find organic tomatoes there. I find organic fruit and veggies. Not all the time. They have their regular items that they have. Their brand of... This is fascinating for your listeners. Fascinating. They had, for a couple of months, they had Tim Tams at 99 cents. They tasted a little bit different to the Aussie Tim Tams, but they said they were made in Australia, so I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe the long flight added something to the flavour.
I never thought of that. The air pressure, the cabin pressure. So I find cheap produce there. I'd miss things like that. And that's about it.
The shopping.
My friends and the cheap food.
Are the friends you've made, are they in comedy or in show business?
Well, one friend I met through a Facebook page, Australians in LA, and she's an actor, and she's been living in Los Angeles she's been living in California for about over 30 years. She's been there longer than she's been here, I think. I don't know. Anyway, so she's like my bestie. She's a real hybrid American-Australian, and I love her. And then I've made some other friends. A lot of the friends that I've made are people that are in the audience at shows. Yes. I don't know. It's like I quite like making friends that way, because they know who you are, or they know some facets of your personality because I see you on stage
already.
So I don't have to impress them, or
you don't have to explain anything.
I don't need my backstory, because I've already heard it.
I've heard it.
The embellished version of my backstory.
That's right. The more entertaining version, perhaps.
The enhanced version.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And what else do you do when you're in LA?
I do a lot of staring into space. Yes. Try and be productive.
That's always good.
I go to a writer's group. So I've been writing. I've got 2 pilots that I've written, and I thought they were ready to go, but apparently they're not. So I present probably once a month, and you have actors there as well, which is wonderful, and they have their scripts, and they're cold reading your script, and then you get feedback about the writing, about the characters, and it's good to hear it out really loud. Helpful. It's wonderful. And it feels like such a privilege to have, access to actors to act your scenes out. So that's really, really helpful. I do that. I've been developing my own sketch comedy series, which I'm very proud of. It's called The Middle Ages, and it's all pertaining to being middle-aged, but it's kind of pretty broad, the themes. It's not like, I don't know. It's not like the stereotypical stuff about being middle-aged, because it's my sense of humour. So my sense of humour is not like pigeonholed to just that. No. It's very broad. So I work with a wonderful editor and camera person who both happen to be the same person. And I couldn't do it here because it's affordable there. It's like,
Oh, okay.
you can exploit people over there.
That's
you know,
nice,
it's great.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very handy.
I guess that's one benefit of being there.
Yeah, it's cheap labour.
Yeah.
So actually that's not entirely true, but I can manage to do it, whereas here I'd be paying a camera person like $200 an hour and an editor $100 an hour, whereas the rates are a little bit different, a bit more user friendly.
Yeah.
So
Give
I
them a
write it
banana
all.
and
That's
a
right.
sandwich and they're
exactly.
done.
Yeah, not even that. Trail
No.
mix, $3.99 trail
That's
mix.
it.
That's what
Yeah.
I buy when he comes over to edit.
Yeah.
And carrots. So I said, do you want some carrots and a cup of tea? He's like, no, thank you.
We'll work for food.
I'm actually all right. So he started bringing his own lunch.
Oh, that's
but
what you want.
He's very, very talented, great guy. And so what I do is I usually employ one actor at a time, get them over, exploit them, get them in as many scenes as possible. And each episode's only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll have the actor in about 2 or 3 different little sketches, and then I'll intersperse it with another week that I've filmed. I usually film once a month, but I get enough sketches that kind of keep me going. So I've launched one episode, and we're going to be launching the next episode tomorrow, actually. We are. When I say we are, that's me.
Your production team.
Which is me.
What, your company.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Middle Ages, yes.
It sounds very exciting.
It
So
is
where
exciting.
can we see that, Jackie?
Oh,
Can we
just
actually see it? Yes.
Yes, it's being broadcast on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, so look out
Yes.
for the Middle Ages.
The Middle Ages, that's correct.
Conceived, written, directed.
That's right.
And starring
and
Jackie
catered
Loeb.
by, yes.
Catered by with extra carrots.
That's right.
And so you're going to do your own, because I know in this industry, making your own work to bring about lucky breaks and to be seen is very important, isn't it?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I'm meant to do. I sat for a couple of years doing nothing. I kind
Yeah.
of waited for the phone to ring. I must have had poor reception, Sharon, because it didn't ring.
No.
And so I'm trying to be as it's kind of crunch time now. I've been there for 7 years, and financially, I'm not sure if I can sustain another 7 years if things continue to go as. I mean, look, I'm not complaining. It's been amazing. I've had amazing opportunities, but I need to create something of my own. And I've always wanted to do this. I love sketch comedy.
Yes,
I
me
absolutely
too.
love it. And you know that I have these ideas sometimes. I think, I want to do that on stage. I think, no, it's not for the stage. It doesn't work. It's not going to translate on stage and stand up.
No.
It needs to be filmed. And you know, then I also have ideas for a sketch. I think, no, that's not a sketch. That's a bit of stand up.
Yeah.
But so it's lovely to have that outlet and to have, you're going to be disciplined and write. And then, you know, I also do the music, and then I've got to do all the voiceover stuff. So I've got to do a lot of sound editing as well.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoy that.
Have you taught yourself how to do editing?
You
Or
know what,
did
I can do, with video editing, I can do basic video. Like if I wanted to put a little show reel together, I could do that. But I've just got a very old Mac, and it's a bit tired. It
Yes.
needs to rest. It probably need to put it out of its
Oh.
misery. But sound editing, music editing, you know what? No, I started with that about 20 years ago, and I did do it. I had some private classes with this guy. But now with the Mac, it's so easy with GarageBand. It's just pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
It's amazing the technology nowadays is that bands can put out a CD or an album or whatever they use nowadays without having to go and rely on a record company.
Oh no, it's amazing. I'm jealous.
frees
I'm
you
jealous
up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm jealous of the young people, because I remember when I wanted to do recording, I wanted to do a CD, and it just cost thousands and
Yeah,
thousands.
it does.
I got the
And you
money
have to
for it.
hire
I
a
wasn't even
studio.
working. I don't know where I got the money
That's
from.
it. Oh, who knows? But but the other thing is you own your own work when you put it out
Exactly.
yourself.
And then being an artist it's not about having financial stability, not that it ever is, but people can do things independently and do things for literally no money, which is great.
That's
You just have to
wonderful.
and it forces people to be a little bit more inventive and imaginative in terms of, you know, getting good sounds and drum loops and making the sound, making it sound fat. Yes.
Yes, excellent.
I haven't quite mastered the fatness. I've mastered it in my body. But in terms of music production, still can't quite get that full fat orchestra sound. But then Maybe I don't have to.
Maybe you don't
putting
need
an
it.
enormous amount of pressure on
Don't
myself.
put any more
I don't
pressure on
need
yourself.
it.
You've
I'm
done
not
enough.
going to do it.
You've done
I've
enough.
done enough. I've done enough.
And I believe you go to acting and sort of industry workshops and events in LA, don't you?
I do go to a few things. There's actually this group called Australians in Film, and through being a member there, you pay a couple of $100 a year, and it's great. You get to go to all these screenings, and often they'll have a panel. So I'm trying to think an example. I can't think of what it's called. They usually have about at least one a month, or usually more than that. Usually I'm away for them and I miss them. But the best thing about them is there's this lovely lady who's got this company called Bronzed Aussies, and she always caters for them. So
Yeah.
And they're pies. Now, I don't generally eat pies here,
No.
but for some reason over there, if I don't have a pie, I'm going to die without a pie. So I go for the pies. I go for the catering.
Are they generally meat pies, Jackie, or
she
chicken,
caters
or a
she knows
mixture?
there's vegans. There's
dear.
meat pies.
No, they could make a vegan pie.
There's like a vegan tofu pie. She does sausage rolls, and she does lamingtons, and she does Anzac cookies. And I usually wrap things up in a serviette.
Do you have a little some Tupperware with you in your
Well,
handbag?
I need to start doing that.
Maybe before you leave for your next trip back to LA, invest in some Tupperware and some little
taking
bags.
notes. I'm taking notes how I can get
LA
away
survival
I
guide.
have no shame. You
No.
just do it. You've got to do.
When
But
it comes to a meat pie, why would you?
yeah, exactly. It's important. They're delicious. They're so delicious. I get so excited. And then if they have screenings where they say there's no reception afterwards, I don't go to them,
No.
do I? Why would I want to
you?
go and support
No.
an Australian film that I'm not in?
No, if it's no pie involved.
So I do go to some of those screenings. I've stopped going to them as frequently because I've moved. I was round about the same area they had the screenings, and I've moved more to the valley, more to a more suburban area and suburban middle-aged lifestyle. So I tend not to go. To a lot of things now. I'm so happy where I don't want to leave the house,
No.
but that's not really why be. That kind of defeats the purpose, because the whole idea of being there is to be there and go out and perform and network with people. But sometimes I prefer to stay at home personally.
We get to that point, don't we? It's enjoyable.
It's wonderful.
It's just lovely, isn't it?
I love it. I have to be very careful though, because there's no one over there to kind of not really accountable to anyone other than myself. I don't really have any responsibilities over there, so I really have to force myself. I could easily stay at home every single day and not leave the house, but
And create your
it's kind
series.
of counterproductive.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty good. I'm being pretty proactive. I don't know what more I can do really beyond groveling and knocking on agents' doors and all that. And I've done that. I've actually did that, and it was horrible. I started going to some. It was my first or second year there, probably second year. And someone said, "Oh my God, you got to do these classes. You got to do these classes. Really good. They're like business classes for actors. So you setting goals and being accountable. You'd come in every week, and everyone had 15 minutes, and we're there for 2 hours, and we talk about our goals. So my goal was I really want to get a manager, like a comedy manager, and so we break down what I need to do. So one of the things was to send emails and send faxes. They're a bit antiquated over there with their faxes, and then I had to hand deliver my headshot and resume to the agents. I'd make a short list of say 12. And I remember being in Beverly Hills on Wilshire Boulevard in my little, not really heels, but to me, by my standards, they're heels. They're really uncomfortable. And trotting up and down Wilshire Boulevard and, sneaking into the office and say, oh, can you leave this for such? Can I leave this for such and such?
And this wasn't a casting agent. This was an actual manager
agent.
or
If you can imagine walking into an agent's office, like, cold selling, like uninvited, unsolicited, and so it's pretty horrible. It didn't get me anywhere. And then I actually did a gig with a group of Aussies. It was at a nice club, and I just thought, I'm just going to have fun with this. There's not going to be any industry people. There's just going to be young Aussies there who just
takes the pressure off.
And then the next day I got an email from the manager that was there, and I had this great manager. Sadly, she passed away. But she was great. She was really great. And just the things, I find sometimes the harder you push, the more resistance there is.
I see.
It's like the universe can sense, they can smell the desperation. And when you're a little bit more relaxed about things.
Almost like you don't care, then things come knocking or coming your way.
Yeah, I have a don't care attitude, but I think it's a I care, I don't care attitude.
Oh, no, it's hard to find the balance.
It's hard to completely let go of things and say, oh, I don't really care, I'm just going to see what happens, because if you just kind of wait and see what happens,
I think that's more of an attitude for if you're 20.
Yeah,
and you've got a lot of years ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more conscious of time. I was just talking to someone before, and, you know, I've got a job in a film when I get back. It's only a small role, but I'm so excited. It took me 7 years to book a job in a film. It took me 6 years to book. Last year I booked 2 jobs on a TV show.
Yeah.
Little like literally one line. But I'm like, I don't have 6 years to wait in between gigs. Can't do it. Just can't do it. So
we'll all be crossing our fingers and everything else on the northern beaches for you.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, so anyone listening, please, anyone listening from DY or
what are the
Terry
other
Hills
areas?
or up at Seaforth or Palm Beach.
It's quite a large area,
please,
isn't it?
Yes, it is quite large. And anyone worldwide, because I know I have listeners worldwide.
Do you? Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And I'm sure they'll all be thinking of you and
what else is
wishing
there
you
to
a big
think
break.
about? Oh, that's very sweet.
We want that for you this year.
I want that for me too.
Jackie
Well,
Loeb,
I want that for
certainly
everyone, but me first.
Yes, you put in the years. I know a lot of people raised their eyebrows when Alan Dale, who was the actor from Neighbours, wasn't he? Is it Neighbours?
Yeah,
he was on Neighbours for 10 years.
Inspiring.
And he went when he was quite, I don't know, close to 50, I think.
Yeah.
With a young family and his young wife.
He did so well.
And he's done very well, and a lot of people wondered why he would do that, because he wasn't a 25-year-old. And he has done well. So there are opportunities. I guess it's having faith in yourself and keeping yourself busy, but also having your time where you can renew your spirit and not completely.
I think that's part of that. I mean, I'm not too spiritual or philosophical, but I felt definitely it was time to renew my spirit, and that's why I left, because I was getting a little bit jaded and bored and frustrated. And it did, if anything, it made me appreciate how good I have it here, like coming back. If I end up coming back, the's no shame in that. Like, Australia is so beautiful.
Look,
and
half
wonderful.
the world is trying to move here and get residency.
Sure, exactly.
So what kind of, are you on some sort of artist visa?
I'm on a green card visa.
Okay.
And every time I think about giving up, I look at that visa and think how hard I worked to get that visa. That visa represents, 26 years of working really hard as a comedian. And I think I'm very proud of that green card. And I look at the different Facebook posts about Australian actors, or if just Australians desperate to move over to LA or to the States to pursue their creative ambitions and pursuits, and how it's becoming more and more difficult. There was the green card lottery, and I think the current government might be doing away with that. A lot of Aussies over there had won the green card lottery, and I went in 4 consecutive years and didn't get anywhere with it. I thought maybe I can actually get a green card based on merit, and I did when I feel very fortunate. But yeah, it's like every time I think about another year and I've had enough, and I look at my green card and think I can't give it up.
Does the green card, is it like last for a long time, Jackie? What is it?
It's 10 years.
It's a 10-year one.
And then you can renew. It's pretty easy to renew.
Yeah, once you've got it.
Yes. And then I think after 5 years of having it, you can apply to become a citizen.
Okay.
That's a bit scary for me, though.
Yeah, that would be a big commitment. You'd have to feel very comfortable with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit indifferent about it. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe.
You'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess don't worry about it too much right now.
No, don't worry about it.
Hope that you get that little inner voice that goes, this is the right thing to do right now. And go ahead.
Trust my intuition a little bit.
Wishy-washy. So what else do you do in Los Angeles?
I sleep.
I sleep? Do you go hiking in canyons? I know there's a lot of canyons.
I used to. When I was in Hollywood, I would go to Runyon Canyon, and that was a real fun thing to do, exhausting thing to do. I don't think I'd be fit enough to do it now. But all kinds of characters on the canyons, lots of people without shirts, attractive men without shirts, and lots of women with prams with with dogs in the prams and
Walking
wheeling the
around,
dogs up
yeah.
the pram.
Are
up the
there
canyon.
trails, like exercise trails and scenic trails?
Yeah, and a lot of attractive people and models and
Oh,
actors
okay.
and everyone. So that was quite interesting. Now that I moved to the valley, there's nowhere to walk to. It's not where I live. It's a nice little pocket. It's really lovely, but beyond that pocket, it's like one side's industrial wasteland, and the other side's like, this sounds terrible, but like a developing nation.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, the streets smell of the public amenities block.
Yeah.
Like I'm not stretching the truth there.
Mm.
So LA is an interesting area. There's no continuity. It could be nice, and then you walk a block, and then it's not nice, and then it's nice, nice. Oh my God, Skid Row, and
Oh my
it's like
goodness.
it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Poor little LA. Yeah,
It's a huge place, isn't it?
yeah.
Is it actually a number of
expensive.
different cities?
Yeah, so where I am is a different city. I didn't understand it when I first. So Beverly Hills is its own entity, and then
So where do people on the Bold and the Beautiful live?
I think aren't they out in Santa Barbara? I think they're like 2.5 hours north out of LA. I think
they're in the good part, I suppose.
well,
There are
but
some of
although
them
there
on
were some
hills.
terrible mudslides, they had the dreadful LA fires this year, and
Yes, I
then soon
know.
after there was like torrential downpour. So a lot of those people in Santa Barbara, I think quite a few people lost their homes. So I don't know where's ideal to live in LA anymore.
No. And what about swimming? Do you go swimming?
I do not.
No.
No, I do not. I lived in an apartment block that had a pool. When I first arrived, I did a little bit of a swim, but
Yeah, down
I
at the
stopped
beach or
going.
what?
Well, it's too cold, the water.
Is it? Yeah.
I had a friend come a few years ago and went out to Malibu, and we did get in the water there. I don't know. I kind of...
You just have to do it
I
once,
like swimming.
suppose.
I do. I like to go to the beach. I'm not great in the surf. I like the
No.
harbour beaches.
Yeah.
On the northern beaches specifically. Not,
Yes.
Are there harbour beaches in the northern beaches?
Yes, they go out to the
Rockpool.
ocean.
Yes,
I think
yes.
it's the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that one.
Which
I
gets
floated
to
that one.
which gets to LA, doesn't it? It's
Yes,
the other
it
side of
does.
it's in LA.
That beach. It's
So
like
technically speaking, you could wave at
Swim.
Jackie Loeb
That's
from
right.
Curl Headland.
It's Curl adjacent in Malibu.
Yeah, very similar.
So I tend not to swim.
No.
It's not that I don't like swimming. I think I'm more worried about
You
my
know-
stuff getting stolen.
I know.
Everyone's
What would
so
you do?
desperate over there.
Are you brave enough to drive around Los Angeles?
do
You
drive.
have a car out there?
I have. I guess you could technically call it a car.
Yes, it gets
It's a
you
car.
around.
It gets me around, and I feel like I lose 5 minutes of my life every time I have to merge onto the freeway. I feel like a part of me dies because
Yeah,
it's so
They're
harrowing.
huge.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, but I've gotten used to that. People aren't very courteous. People don't indicate. People drive very fast. People vape and drive. They do their vaping and all that business, and the entire freeway smell of pot.
Oh,
I
my
don't know where it
goodness.
comes from. But it's kind of rock and roll, but it's cool. People are nice. People are good.
Yeah,
there.
I think if
Such a
you
gross generalisation. People
know.
are good.
well, I mean, it's a huge population, and you
Yes.
get good people and
Yes, you do.
people who aren't so enjoyable to be
No,
around
no,
anywhere,
but you
don't
get that
you?
here too.
You get it anywhere. And what about the plastic surgery phenomenon of California? Have you noticed that?
You know what? We used to go to a gym in Hollywood, and I kind of noticed it a little bit there. Like it was where I go now. So I'm in the burbs now, which
Yeah.
I love, which is me, where I can go to the gym and I'm just kind of normal size.
Yeah.
If not underweight.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
You got some eating to do to catch
That's
up.
not true at all. So the gym in Hollywood was a little bit... You'd come across people, you'd have to kind of do a little bit of a double take and think, oh, that's an interesting face.
Yeah.
But I try not to be judgmental about it. I
Judgmental,
kind
no.
of get it, you know.
Yeah.
I like to say with confidence now that I would never have anything done to my face, but if it was affordable and non-detectable, that's a problem. You can tell when someone's had something
Some of
done.
it is. It's
when it gets
quite
to a
obvious.
point where it's no longer obvious and someone just has this lovely youthful radiance about them,
yeah.
then yeah. But look, I make no judgments and I understand why people do it, and yeah, absolutely, I haven't ruled it out. But the money I need to get new tyres on my car
That's
before
more
I get
important.
new cheekbones. Yeah.
I think growing up in the Northern Beaches, as I did, apart from when I was travelling overseas or whatever, I spent a lot of time in the sun growing up.
too.
So I'm not so worried about wrinkles. It's just those pigments and those liver spots and, you know, those Mr. Burns liver spots. I might get those lasered off if I
I'm
need
not far
to.
behind you. I've
worry about that.
I've noticed different kind of pigmentation under there.
Bit of sun damage, but the actual tight face, I don't think I need that.
No, I don't think
That
anyone
real
needs
tight
that.
face and the funny sort of Joker mouth.
But this, I don't know what to do with your listeners, because this there's not really much. I don't know what to do about that.
There's exercise you got.
I don't want to do them.
I think they're called isometric or some sort of face exercises. Just Google that.
Yeah, well,
massage your face, just pressure point it or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making that up, but
I believe everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fountain of
I got
information.
scammed. Talking about believing everything, I got scammed in Vegas. There was a comedian. It was like New Year's Day, and I was catching up with a friend, you know, having a time in Vegas on New Year's Eve, and I randomly met this comic who was doing a show, and I told him as a comedian. He said, "Oh, next time you're in Vegas, come and do my show." And so I thought, I'm just going to find any old excuse to come to Vegas so I can do his show, which I did. And that night he wasn't doing his show. It was like a wasted trip. And then I went back and said, I'm here. I'd love to do your show. So I did the show. I wouldn't say I brought the house down, but it was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was like a 5-minute spot, and I couldn't do any music or anything, because for my act, I like to do my little music.
You have a
thing.
variety.
I do, but I
creative.
had to talk. I had to just talk, which was fine. I can do that. And afterwards, I didn't hear from him, and I was kind of upset. I was expecting a thank you or whatever, and I thought he hated me, and I was a little bit upset. And then I went back to LA a few days later. I get a call from him. He's like, Jackie, you were great. You were great. I'm putting together this industry night. I've already got 21 industry people that have VIPs that are going to come, casting agents, managers, directors, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. He said, are you interested? He said, I need to know now. He said, can you make a commitment? I said, oh my God, I'd love to. He said, what you need to do, you need to go down to Walmart now. You need to wire me $900. And I'm like,
what?
He said, that's because, you know, we got 21 people coming, and we got to fly them. We got to accommodate them. We got to look after them when they're here, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So he said, you got to go now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So gullible, so like desperate. This is the desperation. And so I go down to Walmart and I wire the money through, and then I get a call from, I don't know, Walmart, I don't know, some banking thing. There's been a hold. They've got like an alert or something, and I call him. I say, hey, there's some alert on your account, and the money won't process. He said, oh, you got to call this number and they will release the money. So no alarm bells for me. I'm just thinking, oh, okay, I've just got to ring this number.
You're in another country. You thought maybe that's how they do banking. What do I know?
Exactly. Giving people because I'm an idiot, giving people the benefit of the doubt. And then he rings me kind of a few days after, and I kind of knew it was going to be more than $900. He said, you need to go back down there again and deposit another $900. So I deposit the money, and that's that. So I've given this stranger $1,800 of my hard-earned money. And then, so this was like January, and the gig's April. I've got it in my diary, and I'm counting down the days to do this gig. Like, so much is riding on this gig because it's an industry showcase, and he's only got 4 acts, and we get 15 minutes. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? A week before the gig, I get an email. The show has been cancelled. Give me your address, and I'll send you a check. And I'm thinking, he's not going to be sending me anything. I said, actually, I'm going to be in Vegas. Why don't I just come down and I'll meet you? And he's like, all right. He's not there. He doesn't meet me. And I'm like, and then he calls me every name under the sun. I accuse him of whatever, being scammed. He calls me every name under the sun. And then I kind of didn't pursue it. Then there was like going to be a class action lawsuit against him kind of thing. And I just thought, bad karma. I just thought, no, he's a comic. He's a brother, even though he's a scam artist. I just thought I couldn't do it. And I contacted him and said, you know what? I said there was some court case thing about you, and I didn't enter into it. I didn't want to be part of it because I just thought the camaraderie, the sisterhood and the brotherhood of comics, you know, I thought I didn't want you to get in any more trouble than you're already in, and kind of count my losses. But I see you're doing a season. So he's got another show now. I see, it'd be really great to be paid back. He said, okay, look, when I get the money back, I'll, try and pay you back or whatever. But I haven't heard from him. That was like 2015. So it's already like 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Some things you kind of count your losses. I mean, $1,800, that's a lot of money for me. It's a lot of money for anyone.
Yeah.
You just feel so humiliated and dirty and stupid. I felt so stupid. And then I vowed, like, every time I act out of desperation, it just backfires, There's just, you got to have a little bit more belief in myself. And, like, would I like to do a showcase in front of 21 industry people? Sure. But do I want to pay, even when I think about it logically, why would I want to pay $1,800 for that opportunity when I can go to a comedy club and one of them, club and
one
do
of them
that?
could be in the audience and you get paid.
Exactly. But you sometimes, when you're desperate, you don't think logically.
I hear that.
Common sense goes out the window.
But
that was an interesting experience.
Yeah. So what advice would you give anyone who's going to go and live in LA as an actor or a comedian?
Don't pay anyone $1,800.
No.
For anything.
No.
No. Not even $900. Not even $80.
No.
For admin fees.
Well, if I ever meet him, I might just punch him on the nose.
He's horrible. He's got such a bad energy. Horrible guy.
Well,
and his comedy. Look, I was laughing. I won't say his name. What his name is. But his comedy is based on meanness. I mean, it was funny. I was laughing, but it was mean spirited.
Well, maybe someone will be mean to him, and maybe we don't know.
I think there are those people though that just kind of just get away with stuff all the time. Like, I don't think he was ever punished. He was at a casino and they stopped his season. They cancelled his season when they realised what was going on, because there was some other scammy stuff going on. But then he just got a season somewhere else.
But you think if he's a working comic, he doesn't need to engage in that sort of behaviour with other people.
Apparently he does. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's got nothing to do probably with the money. It's got something to do with some psychological issues or something.
No, I think it's the money.
Oh, it is the money?
Yes.
Well, we don't know what will happen to that person, but we want the best for Jackie Loeb.
That's correct.
And what's going to be going on for the rest of the year for you, Jackie? You're going back to Los Angeles.
Yes.
You've just been in Sydney for something very important.
Yes, I was
a
in
big
Sydney,
event.
Co-hosting the LGBTI Awards, which are like a community awards. And it was amazing at the Star Casino, and then we had about 700 people attend, which is wonderful. And
yes,
Xena Princess Warrior was there.
Wonderful.
She's very iconic in the community,
computer industry.
In the computer industry, and a lovely lady and a wonderful singer. We did a group song with the wonderful Becky Cole, who's a fantastic country singer, really lovely lady.
Yeah,
and her partner, who's also an incredible singer. So, and we did a song, the 4 or 5 of us, and Jordan Raskopoulos was there too, doing the group song with the Australian Institute of Music, their choir. And that was great fun. And so great awards, really acknowledging people in the community that have made a difference. A lot of it was a real mix of like musician of the year and entertainer of the year and journalist of the year and then community leader of the year and politician of the year. So it
wasn't just about entertainers.
No, it wasn't just about that. So
people making a difference.
People making a difference.
And also celebration.
I'm just going to repeat what you say because you're more articulate than I am,
Well,
Sharon.
I'm trying very hard.
Well, I'm also trying very hard.
As host of Shazza's Laughter Hour, I think I need to do that, don't I?
No.
Yes. And so, Jackie, you'll be heading back to Los Angeles.
In a couple of weeks. Yes, I've actually been booked for a film, so I'm very I can't say too much about the film.
No, don't tell us. No, don't tell us.
But it's a nice little role, not a huge role, but a nice role, and I'm very, very excited. And this has been going on since June. They do what you call a self tape, so you submit you record yourself on your phone. And you do that, and then a month later I heard from them and they said come in for another audition, and then I hadn't heard from them for a while and they said come in for a chemistry read with the other actor.
Oh yes, chemistry is important.
Yes, chemistry is apparently important.
Yeah.
Can't you act chemistry though?
Well, sometimes you can and sometimes it's more obvious than others.
Perhaps.
I think.
And then some time had passed and then we're going to film in August and then we were going to film at the end of the year and now we're filming when I get back, which is very exciting.
That's something to look forward to.
3 days on set, so I'm very, very excited. And Yes.
That's wonderful, Jackie. Well, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. I wish everyone the best.
And on the
too.
long trip back to Los Angeles, do you listen to music or?
I have a panic attack and an anxiety attack if there's turbulence.
Oh dear,
I'm
don't
not
we
the
all?
best flyer. I was saying to you before, there's absolutely nothing. My life there is not glamorous. I have not complaining about my life. I have a lovely life. There's nothing glamorous about flying economies. I'm sure your listeners would understand that. And it's
1 hour is enough on
1 hour
economy flight,
is ample.
isn't it? 1 hour.
It's too long. But 14 hours, I don't enjoy anything about it. I can usually watch about 2 or 3 movies and then I can't concentrate. What I can do is stare into space.
Yes.
So I can't, generally speaking, I won't spend hours just sitting in a chair staring. But for some reason, I can do that on the plane. I can just literally stare and I look at the map and
It's amazing how often you can look at that map.
I need 12
hours
hours
look, I'm
left.
flying over Pogo. That's progress.
Yeah.
Do you get up and do your stretching and your little exercises?
I always demand an aisle seat.
Yes.
Because I
demand it because you are an award-winning comedian. So you
2016
do. Yes, you do need that aisle seat. And do you listen to music? What kind of music do you enjoy? Do you have any favourites?
I like to listen to my own music.
Your own,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I'm my biggest fan.
Yes.
I'm my biggest number one fan. On the plane, so I'll watch it. I usually like something a bit light-hearted because I can't concentrate on the plane because I'm too on edge about turbulence. And I'm usually okay with a little bit of turbulence, but when it gets bad, like on the way back last trip, it wasn't great. And I was swearing and screaming. It was like an out-of-body experience.
Oh, it's awful.
I'm okay with I can't say I'm a bad flyer. Like, I don't have a phobia. Like, I'm fine. Takeoff, landing. It's when you're in the cruise mode and then all of a sudden it gets really, really bumpy. It was more than really, really bumpy. It was not pleasant. And I had my out-of-body experience where I'm screaming and swearing. And there's this lovely young Australian boy next to me. I was like, can I hold your hand? Can I hold your hand? And I grabbed his hand and he's patting my hand and my disgusting middle-aged sweaty hand.
Wow.
It was horrible. But he was very comforting and he was trying to distract me and talk to me about other things. And I knew he was trying to trick me, distract me. And then thankfully it passed and then it started again. It was just horrible. And it's just that...
It's a very out of control
it's
feeling because
horrible.
there's nothing you can really do except...
other than scream and swear. I look around the plane and everyone else is all right. Everyone else, people are asleep. People are in deep sleep. Maybe there's a baby crying and I'm absolutely hysterical.
Well, let's wishing you a nice smooth flight back there, and if not, any turbulence that you have a nice young man or
thank you, nice clean hand to hold,
a helpful
nice
person with a
hand-sanitised
non-sweaty,
hand.
hand sanitized hand that will you can grip onto as though you're giving birth in the sky. And may all your dreams come true, Jackie.
Thank you. I wish everyone's dreams to come true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a nice world, wouldn't it?
That would be lovely.
And just before we finish our interview here at Radio Northern Beaches, Jackie Loeb, I've got a special prize to give you.
I love a prize.
For taking the time for coming on my special show. I have the official, it's an Australia Post paper bag. With,
thank you, it's beautiful.
With an actual... a genuine Qantas pen in there.
Because I fly Virgin, I can't afford to fly Qantas.
That's right. That's why I thought you'd like the pen. And some special stickers. So if you get homesick...
That is actually really...
Some of them say, "G'day, mate."
You know I will re-gift
I want
that.
you to.
It's not that I don't appreciate it, but I will re-gift it.
And just in case you get homesick, which animals would you like best?
Oh, I like a pen.
Look,
let's talk about pens because you can never have enough pens.
I love travelling just for the pens.
That's not what... Virgin, they give you a little height-challenged pen.
Right.
It's not very functional.
Okay, well, that's a really useful Qantas pen.
This is a very high-functional pen.
Yes, and it's in a very pleasant sort of
and I like
browny colour.
Yeah, it's impressive, the colours, how they...
That's it.
The tone, the different tones.
And the bag's useful too. You can put things in it. And I'd also like to...
stickers are great.
Yes, they are. I thought if you get
I love
a bit of a joke.
Go, Aussie, go. Little Aussie.
Aussie Star. That's the one I thought of you. That's Aussie Star.
I'm still going to re-gift it. But
fine.
Yeah, that's a very nice sentiment.
I wanted to ask you, out of these Australian animals, which one's your favourite? A koala, a kangaroo or a numbat?
Probably a koala.
A koala?
Oh my gosh.
So I have a koala in my bag to give you. I stole him from the zoo. No, I didn't. It's a furry
Oh my God,
friend.
I'm going to eat that now. Thank
It's
you.
a furry friend, but
That's
because
very
you've
sweet.
given up
It's
your
really,
special
it's
time.
going to be endangered now. I'm
Yes,
about to eat it.
I'm actually going to give you the kangaroo.
Oh my God, seriously?
And the numbat.
I want to cry. This
Yes.
is so much better than winning the Moa
I'm
Award.
sure it is, and congratulations.
That's so cute.
That's
Where
just
do
a
you
little
buy these from?
just from the supermarket. But it's just some Aussie memorabilia for you.
Thank you,
Won't
Sharon.
weigh a lot in your suitcase.
This is a lovely
have them before you leave.
I'm going to have them now. What are you talking about?
Just to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharon.
Jackie Loeb, for giving up your time. I know you're a very busy lady.
No, not really.
No, but, well, I'll just say it anyway.
Oh, my show. I'm doing a show. If anyone's
please.
interested, just a very, very quick plug. It's on
Please
the
do.
21st of March at a French restaurant called Claire's Kitchen at Le Salon.
Ooh,
I
Le
don't
Salon,
remember-
eh?
I don't remember the phone number, but it's Claire's Kitchen on Oxford Street, Darlinghurst. It involves crossing the Harbour Bridge, so perhaps people.
Oh,
won't
well,
be
this is a
interested.
worldwide
Yeah,
radio
I may as well
program and
stop
Australia-wide. So,
Yes, and
anyone
it's
could get there.
It is a little bit. Well, it's $85, but it's a 3-course meal.
Yes.
And 2 sets of entertainment. In cabaret, not so much a stand-up mode, more in cabaret mode, where I sing some lovely, lovely ditties that I love.
Are they
And-
songs that you've written, or are they songs
No,
you're
they're
from another artist?
Songs I've plagiarised. No, songs like, for example, I'm going to be singing "Luck Be a Lady Tonight."
Oh,
Ooh,
who
I wanna
originally
sell
sang
it.
that?
I know Frank Sinatra did it. It's from Guys and Dolls. It's from a
yes.
musical.
Is pray, luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck, if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight.
And then I'm going to be doing
Oh, I love all that.
a song from Oliver. As
Yes.
long as he needs me. And lovely, beautiful
Oh,
song.
I wish you
Lots
wouldn't
of
stop.
Beautiful songs. I like to sing a beautiful song, but I don't
Yeah.
get the opportunity to.
No.
I can't sing a beautiful song at a pub gig.
No,
Who
you
wants to
can't. They
listen
will
to a
throw
beautiful
something
song?
at you. They say,
Yeah.
"Don't. No, that's too classy for us."
They'll say, don't sing beautiful songs. We didn't come here to sing here
We're,
beautiful
we've got
voice.
yes, we're here to laugh.
Yeah.
And drink beers and
Yes.
look in the mirror when we go to the
so
toilet.
it's very
and
rare I get to perform in that mode, and I've got a lovely friend that
do
I
you wear a
work
nice
with.
frock or something
I
special?
I don't know how nice it's going to be. It doesn't fit, but I'll be wearing a frock.
Yeah.
And a drop earring.
Drops
of
ear.
some
Oh,
sort,
drop earrings
with a
are
bit
very
of a
fancy.
diamante in it.
Oh, well.
And I have a lovely pianist that I work with.
Yeah.
And he'll be playing, accompanying me, and it's very intimate.
So you're kind of next to a piano.
What's a keyboard? It's
Well, something, yeah,
Yeah,
keyboard
your
will do.
listeners don't know. They don't need to know the truth. It's a little Casio
It
keyboard.
sounds quite glamorous, actually.
It is very
You
glamorous.
could
I did it last year and it was wonderful.
Now, is this a fundraiser or anything, or is it just an
for
event?
me, it's a fundraising event.
It's
for
just
me.
a dinner and theatre
Dinner
sort
show.
of experience.
Yeah, that's right. And it's beautiful French cuisine. You get a 3-course meal and it's very intimate, beautiful, beautiful venue. It's just gorgeous. And entertainment.
And do you do just a little bit of witty banter, or just
I do.
just sing and don't
No,
say
I
anything?
do. Sadly, I do. a
You
bit of
can't
witty
really
banter.
help
I
it,
can't
can
help
you?
it,
Well,
no.
why would you?
Well, if there's someone to pick on while they're dining,
Yeah.
how do you not engage with? It's very hard. How do you not engage with people?
Yeah, I think all the great singers and all those old-fashioned kind of crooners and cabaret artists all had their little bit of banter.
Got to have a bit of banter.
Yeah. Yeah, but you be singing really nicely as well.
I will be singing exquisitely.
Oh, I don't know if you'd like to take out our show tonight with anything.
I'm trying to think what I'm going to be singing. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that to distort. I have to use my
No.
chocolate as a microphone.
Please do.
After the key change.
Which one are you
We're
using?
going to be.
All of
I'm
them?
going to do all of them for
Okay.
stereo
Yep.
sound, stereo surround sound. If you are lonely, then you will know when someone loves you, you love them so. I won't forget his. I've forgotten the words.
Oh, well.
And I've run out of breath.
Oh, look, thank you so much,
It's an
Jackie
absolute
Loeb.
pleasure.
Just to take out our wonderful episode this week of Shazza's Laughter Hour. Oh, I'm absolutely so thrilled and thankful and very delighted to have had you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to your lovely listeners.
Yes, and all the very best to you. And we hope
Thank you.
that we see you on the big screen
Oh, I
more
hope
often
so.
in the future.
Oh, I hope it
and in the
doesn't
near
take
future,
another
not
7
not the
years.
far future, the near future.
I hate the far future.
Yes,
Who's got time for that?
Let's forget that. Well, thank you again, Jackie Loeb. And thank you, listeners, for listening to and tuning into Shazza's Laughter Hour. And we'll be back next Thursday night from 6... I don't know what that accent is either. I think I've caught your accent.
Southern...
6 to 7 p.m.
Southern Northern
No, I want to be
Beaches.
California because you got like going back there.
Then just do your Australian accent. 'cause
Oh,
there's
okay. There's so many Australians, yes.
To finish off Shazza's Laughter Hour this week, I'm going to pay tribute to the singing and musical ability of Jackie Loeb with none other than the magnificent Barbra Streisand singing Hello Dolly, the theme song from the 1969 smash hit musical comedy Hello Dolly. And I think Jackie Loeb could play a rather nice Dolly Levi on Broadway one day or anywhere in the world with her musical talent and singing. So here we are. Here's to you, Jackie Loeb. Off away you go back to Hollywood, and Barbra Streisand singing Hello Dolly.
So see you next Thursday for Shazza's Laughter Hour, 6 to 7 p.m. Radio Northern Beaches, and until then, have a happy, healthy and laughing week.